promoter at Pocono named Joe Mattioli had made some money racing big trucks back during that same period. Hal Needham and putting together a movie called Smoking the Bandit. Actually, it was Smoking the Bandit 2 opened with a truck race. He needed this. He needed a truck race scene. And they did this in Atlanta, Georgia. A fellow named Jim Donahue from Nashville put it together, and to everybody's surprise, literally tens of thousands of people came out to see this. I mean, it was strictly a PR stunt on Needham's part. Nobody ever dreamed anybody give a damn about that. But they were coming out of the woodwork to see this. And from that, a truck racing organization was started. Well, the gentleman that ran the organization was a good promoter, but less incredible. The promoters had a very difficult time dealing with him, and the thing diminished, or the point where it was going to go away if somebody didn't do something, because of the lack of confidence people had in this gentleman. I mean, nice guy, but he just didn't have his act together, and really didn't understand what racing was all about, how it had to work. And I was recovering from shoulder surgery, and I was asked, would you step in there and please get involved in this thing and try to organize it so we could make some money? And I did this. I had like 5 promoters ask me to take a look at it. And so I went to Donahue. I mean, he was about ready to get out in the tubes, and made a deal to buy out his interest, and then I renamed it. And instead of, I think it was called American Truck Racing, I called it Great American Truck Racing, which is GATR, which we called GATR Racing. And discovered that I didn't even know what problems could be. When you try to organize 200 independent truck drivers, you have your hands full. And they have opinions on everything. And the 3 words you'll never hear a trucker say is, I don't know. They know everything. And it was probably the most challenging thing that I ever did. And Nancy one day, really, my ex-wife Nancy, I said, Nancy, these people are beating me to death. They're teaching me words I didn't even know existed. And I mean, it was just threats. It was brutal. And I said, some way, I've got to get control of this thing. And she said, well, let's try to do something. Let's try to approach the wives. And at Nancy's urging, we called a meeting, not of the men, but of the wives. And I've told them it was very difficult to get all the proper insurances. And I said, I'm concerned somebody's going to get hurt. We need to start some kind of a benevolent foundation. And I threw in a couple $1,000 to get them started. We formed an organization, which we called Great American Ladies Society. GALS, G-A-L-S. And Nancy took care of the meeting, chaired the meeting. And we came out of those meetings, where that particular meeting on that day, those wives loved us. So there, when they went home, if these truck drivers were raising hell with the Hendershots, they had the wives to contend with. So that little move, which was very subtle, and it was genuine, really caring about their welfare. Literally, all of a sudden, when we go into a meeting, I didn't have to out-yell them. They listened. We had these 14,000 pound vehicles running on racetracks that weren't designed for 14,000 pound vehicles. And we were fighting like heck to get the safety of these vehicles up where we didn't have to worry about it. Bill France Jr. would call me sometimes and said, Linn, be careful with what you're doing. He was not for this. General Motors, on behalf of their Detroit Diesel Allison brand of engines and transmissions, they supported me financially, the Great American Truck Racing, to make it happen. So I had the financial support from General Motors, but still I had this big question mark in my head, are we doing the right thing? France kept warning me. And actually, sometimes he and I had some pretty firm discussions about the future of this thing, and I hate to admit it. But on that part of the big trucks, he was right.
I think the fastest, we ran up at the Pocono International Speedway. It was 138 miles an hour. They'll fly. They'll absolutely fly. That particular race, I think we probably had maybe 25 or 30,000 people there. And we had one lap to go, And I can remember whenever they came and they got the white flag, there were 3 trucks that were in the hunt. And whenever I saw them cross the start-finish line, my thought was, we've got a problem, because they were all running just wheel to wheel, going as hard as they could. And it was like everybody was out of control. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in any sporting event, because the crowd was just going crazy. And going into the first turn, one of the trucks, again, these are all open wheel trucks. One of the trucks, its front wheel hit the back wheel of another truck, and the truck actually got airborne. And it hit the base of the wall, the fence, and the wall disappeared. It went right out of the racetrack. And the next thing you know, you've got total silence. I mean, because 30,000 people thought they had just witnessed the death. I was one of the safety officials at that time. There was a TV crew there, and the TV crew jumped in the back of the golf cart, said, "We want to go with you." And by the time we got within maybe 50 yards, here comes the driver. His name is Charlie Baker, who's actually run some NASCAR races. Charlie has come up over the hill, and he is waving, and everything's okay, and it was just a heck of a ride.
I had this agreement with General Motors on behalf of Detroit Diesel Allison that I guaranteed them certain markets in order to make their programs work. And in some cases, some areas, I couldn't get local promoters to take on an event. So in order to fulfill my obligation to Detroit Diesel Allison and General Motors, I was obligated to put on an event in those particular markets. Now, one of those markets was Atlanta, Georgia, one that I was familiar with through my pro football experience. And here again, I think that's when the reality of the fact what we were selling, the people weren't buying, came about, because we did an absolutely incredible promotion in Atlanta. I mean, we spent a lot of money, and we did it right, because I wanted it to be right. There was nothing that day I could blame it on. The weather was nice, things were right. There was nothing else competing. Our pre-sale advance ticket was not good. Our walk-up was terrible. And when I looked at certain sections of the grandstand, and I could shoot a cannon up through there and not hit anybody, I mean, it was a dramatic wake-up call. And I knew that there was a major flaw not in my marketing, but in my product. And I took a major hit that day. I didn't want to see the sport die because of my inability to handle things, so I worked very diligently to try to find somebody to buy it.